When NCIS first started airing, no one had any idea that the show would become such a huge hit. But as with any show that has been on the air for nearly 20 years, there will be changes in the cast. From personal choices to trouble behind the scenes, here are the real reasons why these actors left the world of NCIS.
Hey, my car blew up this morning. Did you do that?
Starting with Michael Weatherly. Now, to be honest, he had enough of NCIS. After all, he was one of the first people to be on the first NCIS show. But working in the same place for more than a decade can be boring, even for an actor on a popular TV show. Weatherly says that he quit the show in 2016 because he was bored with it. It looks like Weatherly wasn't too worn out by the hard work of making a series, because just 2 months after he left NCIS, he'd be the star of his own show on CBS called Bull. The show is based on the early career of Dr. Phil McGraw, but Weatherly's time as the main character in Bull hasn't been without trouble. Speaking of trouble, the conflict between these two characters was pretty intense.
I wanted to say thank you, Leon, for everything.
Mark Harmon and Polly Perrette. Now, you see, Polly's apparently terrified of Mark. The reason Polly Perrette decided to leave NCIS is a bit of a mystery. When she first said she was leaving in 2017, she posted that it was just the right time. Later, she posted that leaving was a decision made a long time ago. Since then, Perrette's made it clear why she won't ever return to NCIS. She again tweeted about being scared of Mark Harmon and dreaming he'd attack her. That tweet's deleted now though, which makes it even more strange. So what caused Perrette to stand up for the crew and supposedly provoked Harmon to attack her? Well, it seems like this whole thing started when Mark Harmon's dog bit a member of the NCIS crew. Perrette claimed that a publicity machine wouldn't let her talk about what happened between them. And while that's probably a fair reason to leave, did you know that there are actors who left because their characters were sidelined way too much?
I'm not the only one paranoid. I do not recommend entering that building to serve your warrant. There will be a standoff.
Yup, apparently Cote de Pablo wanted her character to get more attention. Ziva David was a fan favorite character, even though she didn't appear on the show from the beginning. She joined the show in 2005 for season 3, but left abruptly in 2013 at the beginning of season 11. She was the first major character to leave the hit show. After she left, she said her decision to leave was because of personal issues. A few years later, though, the actress said her departure was because she felt the show wasn't treating her character right. In an interview in 2016, she said that Ziva wasn't being given the respect she deserved. Even though she didn't like the show, she didn't rule out going back to NCIS. It looks like De Pablo got her wish, because she returned to Ziva, appearing in both season 16 and season 17. But sometimes there aren't any major reasons when an actor wants to say goodbye. They just know it's time.
Not a big deal, but little Miss Tidy Twisty Pants blows everything out of proportion and it becomes a major deal.
All you left me was the crust.
Like Sasha Alexander, who could no longer work on NCIS. When the actress said she was done with the show after 2 seasons, they gave her character a big send-off. I was shocked when Special Agent Kate Todd was shot in the head and died. But why did she leave in such a horrible way? Well, it turned out that she just wanted to move on. Apparently, the actress showed up with tears in her eyes and said she just couldn't work this hard anymore. From what she shared, I kinda get it. Making the show was a lot of work, almost 17 hours daily, and this went on for almost a year. She said she doesn't regret leaving NCIS, believing she wouldn't be where she was today if she'd stayed. After leaving the show in 2005, Alexander went on to star in Rizzoli and Isles, which ran on TNT for 7 seasons. She was also a recurring character on the show Shameless. That's not all though. She's also been on Law & Order SVU and Curb Your Enthusiasm, among other shows. Speaking of actors who'd had enough, this next one was tired of her role.
Agent Gibbs, we need to talk about the latest East African threat assessments.
Being the director had become boring for Lauren Holly. From seasons 3 through 5 of NCIS, she played Jenny Shepard, the director in charge of the NCIS team. Holly hadn't been acting for long when she was offered the part, and she said it was supposed to be a guest arc, but she played the mysteriously sick director in a whopping 48 episodes. So Holly left because she was tired of playing the character. Since she'd been taking a break from acting before joining NCIS, after 3 seasons, she was pretty much done with the role. But how did they get rid of her character on the screen? Well, it wasn't her illness that killed off her character. The Russian crime boss didn't kill Jenny Shepard. Instead, she was killed by the fiancé of the Russian crime boss. Holly's still alive and well, and she's been in movies and TV shows like The Black Coat's Daughter, Crank, High Voltage, Flashpoint, Motive, and Designated Survivor. Now, some actors had just run dry with their characters' lives, so leaving was just all there was to do.
Where?
On the roof. Temporary evacuation till the bomb squad can get here for a sweep.
The reactor he was involved in.
Is that for anyone in particular?
Not anymore. Help yourself.
Thank you.
And there wasn't much NCIS could do with Dwayne Henry. In season 13 of NCIS, Dwayne Henry started playing Clayton Reeves, a former British MI6 officer who now works for the NCIS International Desk. Henry was on the show for only 2 seasons before he was killed off. In the same episode as Abby's last appearance by Polly Perrette, Henry says that his departure was partly because the show didn't know what to do with his character. After Gary Glasberg, the former head of NCIS, died, he said that it was clear that the character wasn't really his guy, and Clayton was Gary's idea. That's why after Glasberg died, Henry could tell that the rest of the crew weren't really sure what the future held. So Henry knew that his character's story might be coming to an end. It didn't hurt too much though, so don't worry. He shared that he was pretty much ready for anything. So sure, he might have been a little sad about how Clayton died by a hitman who was supposed to kill Abby, but he didn't really hate it. He thought it was the best way to leave the screen. Even though Henry's departure from the show was amicable, the fact that Clayton Reeves was killed means I've seen his last on NCIS. Speaking of characters I've seen the last of, it's a little funny when characters only make brief appearances.
I don't understand. What's the catch here? I mean, when NCIS came to Footsie to get recruits, they said it was something like a suicide mission.
Jennifer Esposito was a one-time kind of deal. Even though Jennifer Esposito was only in 1 season of NCIS as Special Agent Alexandra Quinn, she made a big impression on me. And it looks like I'm not the only one, because almost everyone liked her. Quinn worked at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center for 15 years before she joined NCIS. There, she taught agents like Bishop, Torres, and McGee how to do their jobs. I was surprised to hear that Esposito wouldn't be coming back to the popular show. Some people thought that the actress might have been sick. At least that's what Jennifer Esposito heard when she responded to the rumors herself on Twitter. Esposito said that Quinn wasn't meant to be a long-term character, so her leaving NCIS wasn't as shocking as it seemed. Still, Quinn could come back at some point in the future. In contrast to some of her other co-stars, her character didn't die. Instead, she had just left the team to take care of her mother, who had Alzheimer's disease. That's all the reasons why these NCIS actors left. See you in the next one.